If you clicked this video because of the thumbnail, congrats, you're a person of culture. What's up guys, it's Project, and as a member of the United Nations of Weebs, today I'll be teaching you everything you need to know to optimize your starting experience as much as possible as a new player in Genshin Impact. And after watching this video, you'll definitely become that ultimate waifu, husbando, and trap collector?
Ski?
Yeah, first of all, the game is available on PC, PS4, and phone. Because of the performance on some phones and the PS4 version not running that well, being under 30 frames per second, I recommend PC as it plays as smooth as Paimon's cheeks. Butt cheeks that is. PC and phone have cross-save, PS4 doesn't, but all systems can play co-op together so long as you're in the same server. You cannot change servers by the way, so make sure you pick the right one from the start. Co-op is unlocked at rank 16, so get to that rank ASAP if you want to play together in the open world or in dungeons, though keep in mind you do not get rank XP, nor can get rewards from chests from the open world, if you're the person joining. You also can't progress story quests together, so bleh, it's mainly going to be a dungeon thing. Of course, we have to begin with the very start of the game, and that involves re-rolling for a 5-star hero. Should you re-roll? Yes. Is it worth doing? Yes. Do you have to though? No. Who should you reroll for? Waifus, of course. 3D waifus.
Tentacle porn.
Rerolling as of launch and before patch 1.1 takes 27 minutes to reach rank 7 for a grand total of 46 summons. That's 92 summons an hour, so you definitely have a good chance of getting a 5-star more than ever. I made a video showing the full route, and you can check that out in the end screen annotation and the pinned comment. Do keep in mind though, this will change in the future, so the amount of currency you get at the start will be different from what I've said here. If you're on PS4, just start the game, because you can't reroll without making an entirely new PSN ID, so it's not worth the effort in my opinion. Luckily, for PC and phone users, you don't have to have 10,000 emails to reroll. Simply going to the MiHoYo website and registering a username account there will work with the game, where you can sign in the game with said username and password and play. If the account fails to get a 5-star, you simply make a new one with like adding a number next to it for simplicity's sake, and you can even link an email to that account later once you land a role you want to stick with. The link to that website will be in the description below. And lastly, between multi-10 pulls and singles, always go singles to spend as few currency as possible, as getting a 4-star or higher unit will reset the pity. Next segment, team building. This game is all about teamwork. A big part of damage output is going to come from synergy between multiple characters, switching between them constantly, and using skills that apply multiple elements. Elements, when combined, cause reactions, which then further damage or cause beneficial effects against enemies, and each character has a specific role they fill within each element, and that is further affected by the gear you have. All the 5-stars are good and are generally better than 4-stars that have a similar role and element. Venti though is likely the best hero value-wise since he's a plug-and-play in any comp, whereas the others are more segmented by their role and not as easily malleable to certain teams. For the best 4-star hero though, Fischl is your girl, as Electro Element is the best element in the game for reactions like Superconduct and Overload, and her skills and damage are generally better than the others. But first off, what are these roles? The main one is the DPS. Units like Diluc, Xiangling, Shang, Razor, Mona, Keqing. These are going to be the main DPS units to throw all your best damage gear on, where they deal good damage even with just normal attacks. The second role is a support DPS, usually having a great Q or E skill for damage that you call in when their skills are ready to use. They usually have skills that linger as well, so when you switch back to your main unit, you can cause elemental reactions for a period of time. Units like Fischl, Xiangling, Xingque, Sucrose, and Kea. And well, to be honest, these are your main 2 roles. The other members either give support through heals like Jean, Kiki, or Barbara, or are there for an additional elemental reaction or elemental resonance. Having 2 of the same elemental heroes on a team triggers a elemental resonance buff for those heroes. So, for every comp you make, you should always have 2 of the same element, matching your DPS unit. So if you got Diluc, then you want Xiangling as the support element and second damage dealer for the team. If you got Mona, you'd want Xingque as the support water roll. So essentially, the teams you make will focus on 1 or 2 elements with 1 or 2 DPS units. Example comp would be Diluc, Xiangling, Jean, and Waifu Fischl for a fire comp with a healer. Whatever your DPS is, that's the element you want 2 of, as not only do you get the benefits like I mentioned, but whenever said hero uses a skill, they generate anemo, and members with the same elements will absorb a big portion of that anemo as well, effectively boosting how often you can use skills compared to a comp with 4 different elements. Out of all the tips to know, getting your comp right is the most important one. Because of this though, as far as XP, gear, and materials go, you should only focus on 2 units. As a beginner, it is fine to get everyone to level 18 to enjoy and play with each character, as you're going to be capped on level 20 anyways for a good chunk of the start. But from there on, especially when it comes to ascending units, only invest your resources into 2 units for maximum clear speed while using as few resources as possible. Again, the 2 units being your main DPS and sub DPS. For gear, you're given a 4-star sword at rank 10 and a bow at rank 18. You can also create 4-star weapons by finding weapon prototype pieces in various locations in the game, the first being a claymore in this Valley mini quest. For the rock materials, just make sure to embark your heroes on expeditions to farm them over the course of a day. You should gain enough to make a weapon in a week. Only ascend 4-star or 5-star weapons, as they have much higher base stats than 3 stars, and prioritize ascending your main and sub DPS weapons first. For units that rely on elemental reactions, however, it might be worth using a 3-star for a while, as you'll be able to refine them by combining dupes of the same weapon and max them out fairly quickly, and those passive effects will more affect the elemental reaction damage than raw attack, which has no effect on it. So, say your 3rd support hero that is only used for reactions, I would give them a maxed out refined weapon rather than a 4-star non-refined weapon. For elemental reactions, here's a chart made by Sunmilk. As you can see, Superconduct is one that lowers defense, so if your main DPS relies heavily on physical damage like most Claymore users do, then you definitely want to have an Electro and Frost unit on the team. As mentioned earlier, Overload is amazing as well, perhaps the best reaction damage you can deal. Geo is perhaps the weakest element at the moment though, so keep that in mind, but that might change after we get the new 5-star in the 1.1 update. Going back to gear, artifacts. Feathers should be the first artifact you upgrade, as their main stat is always flat attack. And you like flat, don't you? Because of the scarcity of upgrades you can do for artifacts, like weapons, only upgrade 4-star or higher artifacts. And again, focus on feather first, and then go for ones that have good substats, like crit chance and crit damage. Substats you get on artifacts will also be random, so keep that in mind before committing to upgrading them. You might get a bad one, and you might decide it's not worth upgrading. For beginners, the Berserker 2-piece is recommended on both your main and sub DPS units, and then you can decide from there if you want to go for 4-piece, or incorporate another 2-piece set, but that's essentially your only option. Go double 2-piece, or just 4-piece set per character. The first 4-star Berserker piece is a feather found in a chest here. You have to defeat the Hilichurl camps surrounding the area to obtain it. These camps are also a great farm place for Hilichurl materials as well. And in the same chest that you get the feather, you also get a claymore piece for greatsword users. To complete the 2-piece bonus for the feather though, just open luxurious and precious chests, and Berserker sets will spawn pretty frequently inside them, even sometimes as 4-stars. The second set bonus I recommend for your physical user is the 3-star artifacts you get from the Adventure Handbook in Chapter 3. That set bonus gives 18% physical damage for the 2-piece set, so these 2 sets are the ones to aim for early on. I recommend getting to rank 12 as soon as possible so you can unlock commissions, which is essentially your daily quest, and completing all of them and talking to Catherine gives you over 1000 XP a day plus Primo Gems. Likewise, there's this special currency called Risen. This is essentially the stamina system of the game. It recharges when it's not capped, so make sure to stay under the cap. Domains and ley lines require Risen to obtain the rewards, so at the least, I'd go about half Risen per day, doing 3 ley lines for 300 XP to your rank, and yeah, you'll generate more over time, and you have enough left over in case you feel like doing a domain for materials, such as the Sicilian Garden, likely your first foray into weapon extension material farm. So make sure to get this unlocked and do it at least once per day, as they are on a 2-day rotation. As far as progression, while you can explore the open world, I only recommend doing so when you can no longer proceed story quests because of rank. Focus on story and Archon quests first, and then explore when you need to hit certain ranks to unlock the next quest, which your first soft cap should be around rank 15, where you can't do any more quests and have to get to rank 18. I recommend going towards Leeway, as you will spawn more quests that way. Don't forget to check back to Catherine at the guild for your rank rewards as well whenever you get 3 ranks or so. At rank 15 you unlock expeditions as well, so talk to Catherine so you can send someone to farm rock minerals for you. Upon reaching rank 15, you also unlock Ascendancy, and I advise you to send your main DPS units ASAP. You can get the stones at Marjorie's shop, and each Ascendancy usually needs a world item and a monster item. Once you ascend a unit, they'll be able to reach level 40 to gain a massive increase in stats, and you'll also unlock new skills. Because enemy level is tied to your world level and not the character level, you'll be able to smash content faster once you get your characters to level 39. Don't get them to 40, just 38 to 39, as you're going to get XP from beating enemies over time and can save some XP books. Similarly, ascend weapons as soon as possible. Food can give some really cool effects, so make sure to use them. They're not just for healing, but can boost your clear speed of a domain or challenge, or even help against boss fights or mini boss fights like the wind elements and golems. Food does have a cap though. You can't spam them too much for your units, as your units will have a full effect after a certain threshold, where they won't be able to eat anything else after a set period of time. This is where a healer comes in late game, since if you can't heal via food, you're gonna have a tough time in Spiral Abyss and some of the harder content. Luckily, we get Barbara free at rank 20, which is a healer. There is also food that gives stamina and can be used when climbing a mountain too high or a large body of water to help cross it safely and prevent falling down or drowning. If you do fall down, however, from a cliff, use the attack button and it'll soften the landing or even prevent damage depending how high you fell from. And push comes to shove, you can also just warp out of any bad scenario by opening the map and teleporting. Obviously, it doesn't work in Domains or Abyss, however. If your characters do become low life or even die, and you want to preserve some food, simply teleport to a shrine of the 7 and it'll give you a auto heal once you stand next to it. Receiving its blessing also allows you to force heal characters, so between quests, make sure to warp to these occasionally if your team is low on health, and also make sure to set the blessing to max 100% to get full heals. Speaking of shrines, make sure to get every ANEMOCULOUS you encounter. They are shown as star icons on the minimap when near them, and giving them to shrines levels the shrine up, boosting your stamina and giving XP to your rank. I'll leave a link to a site that shows where to find all the ANEMOCULOUS in the game in the description if you want to go for that 100% obtain for max stamina. Occasionally, you'll encounter shrines that have luxurious chests locked in them. They need these rare keys to be opened though, so make sure to mark these on the map so you can return to them once you get the key to unlock them for them juicy rewards. During the launch of the game, there is a login event as well, so make sure to click this icon to obtain your rewards daily. Likewise, make sure to do the Adventurer's Handbook quest. As mentioned earlier, it's a way to get 3-star physical damage set artifacts, so aspire to complete these quests as you play the game between major quests. Despite talking about team building earlier, don't forget you can simply switch to another team if you need a certain element. If you lack a fire unit in your main team and you need a fire element for a certain puzzle, just keep Amber or Shangling in Team 2 and swap to it to complete the puzzle, and then you can swap back. So yeah, keep the elements you lack in your main team on your Team 2 for when you need them for puzzles, rather than swapping out members of your main party. Once you reach rank 20, you will unlock the Battle Pass. There's a free and a paid premium version, but essentially it's a time quest system where you need to meet certain criteria to obtain the rewards. For safety's sake, I recommend downloading the game on your phone if you're playing on PC, and then log in the same account purely to purchase things on your phone, as the PC version doesn't accept PayPal, and the last thing you want to do is give your direct credit card info to them. Phone, however, you can buy stuff through the Google Play with PayPal, or perhaps even Google Play prepaid cards at your local grocery store, or you can buy through Apple Store if on iOS, so if you're thinking about spending money, buy it from the phone. And the last tip I'll give, I know it's been a long video, is summoning material. Paimon's Bargains allows you to buy Intertwined Fate so you can summon on Venti or future limited banners. Always buy Intertwined Fate, never Normie Fate. I don't even recommend spending Fates on the standard banner yet, as the rates are honestly bad. However, there is no other banner to spend those Fates on, but I think perhaps we may get future banners that enable you to spend them on for a more focused summon. Example, Venti is a limited unit, so it makes sense it requires Intertwine. However, we may see banners like Mona Rate Up or Diluc Rate Up, which aren't limited and may very well use standard Fate as a summoning currency. We'll have to wait and see, but for now, if you did reroll for a 5-star, I'd say stockpile them Normie Fates for a while to see what direction they go. It does take 90 summons to guarantee a 5-star on either banner, however, it's always a 50-50 chance on what 5-star you get. Example, the Venti banner. At 90 summons, you only have a 50% chance to guarantee Venti. The other 50 is going to be a random 5-star hero. On the standard banner, it's 50-50 on whether you get a 5-star hero at all, as you may end up spending 90 summons for a weapon, to which you would have had better rates summoning on the weapon banner instead if that was your goal. So all in all, it takes 180 summons to guarantee the main banner hero. Guaranteed. That's about 4 months worth of saving currency at the least in worst case scenario. Also, keep in mind that there's no info on whether the pity count will carry over. So if you are going to summon, make sure you can get to that 180 summon point before the banner leaves. Otherwise, you could end up wasting everything for not what you wanted. Getting dupes isn't bad, however, due to the constellation system. Because Fischl is one of the top 4 stars, for example, you could very well try to summon on Venti banner for mainly Fischl copies instead of purely for a 5-star. Getting dupes also gives you star glitter, which you can eventually save up to get yet another 4-star from Paimon's bargains, so that's worth considering. As far as what to buy in the shop with real money, my only suggestion is the monthly pass for $5 and perhaps the battle pass as well, depending on how many days are left in the current battle pass when you're thinking of buying it. Those are going to be the cheapskate options. And we cheapskates on this channel, right? Whales, do your thing. And speaking of whales, if you free-to-play peasants are having a hard time with certain content, hey, ask your friendly whales to help you out with their maxed out ambers to clear the dungeon or boss. So take advantage of the co-op system. Whales are friends, not food. Yeah, and add people as friends as well. Add each other. Do it. And that is it for my tips for beginner players. As I go deeper into the game, I'll get to the more nuanced tips and comps and the like to take on the harder content, but hopefully these early tips kickstarted your adventure on the right track. Again, links to certain resources will be in the description, so check them out. You can join my Discord to talk about Genshin Impact if you want as well. And yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, smash that like button if you want to see more videos like this in the future. And for fun, list your top 3 heroes in the comments below, and maybe even your username and server if you guys want to add each other as friends to co-op. And once you're done smooching your homies, subscribe for more Genshin epicness.
Don't wait, show that you